Hey guys, this is Calvin Williams with Improver, and this is a special day, very special day, not just because it's Monday, but because I got my good buddy Mike Wiersma on the line with me. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how you doing, Calvin? Good to see you again.
I'm doing fantastic. Likewise, as always a pleasure. Mike just recently completed the Improver Challenge. He is now a certified continuous improvement machine. I must confess, he was already that when I met him. It's just that now he's got another stripe on his vest and he is ready to go take on the world. And he's got a phenomenal story to share. So I was hoping we could share that throughout the course of this video. For those of you who don't know about the Improver Challenge, it is a 30-day challenge to help you develop the habit of daily improvement. You get the technology, the coach, and the community to ensure your success with this process. And we've got some very powerful success stories coming out of it, and Mike is going to tell his today. So, Mike, give us the minute and a half introduction of who you are, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. I'm a continuous improvement background. I've been around it for about 20 years. I've been on the Michigan League Consortium Board of Directors for the last 3 years, almost 3 years. And just recently started a new job, which is really what I use the Improver Challenge for. So coming out of COVID, looking for new opportunities and really taking my background in continuous improvement to a new organization. I've previously worked in the pharmaceutical business as well as the consumer goods, done manufacturing and office-based lean transformation. So,
man, that's awesome.
Been excited. Yep.
So you're a special breed of continuous improvement person for many reasons, but for one, in your last role, you were actually taking continuous improvement into the legal profession, which is very different and very unique. You got any nuggets to take away from that before we jump into the Improver Challenge here?
Yeah, what I would say is legal, like any other organization or function, they are a team, so a group of people that have services that they provide. Those services have processes, and the same tools that work in manufacturing and any other function does also apply to the legal function. So it is possible. We have a good story coming out of that organization where they were able to save a lot of money, standardize a lot of work, and visualize their improvement methods in just 2 years. So it is possible to do continuous improvement in legal. If you didn't try it, do it.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. So for this challenge, you were one of those CI people of the many who got bit by the sort of the slowdown in CI activity due to COVID, and found yourself in a position where you needed to figure out your next steps with your career, right?
That's right.
So on that foundation, so tell me why you decided to take the Improver Challenge and sort of summarize what the results you achieved as part of the challenge there.
Yeah, I think I joined it for 2 reasons. One, not for personal reasons, but for looking at how the Michigan Lean Consortium can operate as a unit and an organization to drive value across organizations. I've been looking for a structured approach to engaging coaching and improvement efforts to help each other more broadly. And so I wanted to investigate this method to actually accomplish that purpose. And then secondly, I'm always open to help and learning, especially when there is unclear or uncertain future. And so I thought it'd be a great opportunity to leverage some extra help, some new thinking, new tools, and explore different aspects of continuous improvement as how it would apply to job search.
Yeah, very cool. So tell me, from that experience and using the Improver Challenge to accelerate your job search, what was your bigger challenge? Like, what is it that you wanted sort of in the long run to accomplish, or say, 6 to 12 months into the future?
Yeah, so 6 to 12 months upon the start, I was really looking at trying to find meaningful work that balanced where I was at as an individual, my career progression, where I've been at, and really be good for our family unit as well. So really identifying, what and being able to actively be contributing within that time frame, especially with the slowdown. I didn't know how long it would take, or necessarily what I wanted to do coming out of this opportunity. But I think that was really what I was trying to head at, is land and provide meaningful work with a family unit that would be comfortable with whatever I choose to do.
Yeah, very cool. And I think that's something all of us aspire to. Now, your case was, relative to the other folks that usually take the challenge, your case was a little different because you are in such a state of flux, right? Because you're somebody living in Michigan at the time and sort of looking for the next career move for yourself. You didn't even know if you would be already employed by the time the challenge ended 30 days later. So
that's true. Yeah.
You're in a big state of flux and still thinking long term, trying to craft a vision that's a year out. I can see how that could be a huge challenge, but you probably struggle with that less than most people who come into the challenge. That's always one of the hardest things to do. So how did you break that down, right? Knowing you wanted to get to a place of security, being the breadwinner, how did you break that down to your first target condition and then sort of set a series of target conditions to get the results you end up getting?
Yeah, I think breaking that down into, the Impruver event itself. So in 30 days, what do I want to accomplish? Really, I was structuring a 2-month challenge, if you will, to say, hey, I want to be landed in 2 months so I can be providing meaningful work and in the right spot with the family unit in the months after that. So my real short-term goal at the start was the 2-month challenge to be landed and at least onboarding or starting work at that time. I think through that, I had to uncover, through the different things I measured and the different things I looked at, I had to craft up a couple different target conditions to help me get there on the shorter term.
Right.
And those were the things I actually used in the Improver Challenge to help me get to that 2-month goal.
Right. So I don't remember offhand what your exact target conditions were, but I know you did achieve some pretty phenomenal results, right? So I think your case, right? I know, you came into this already a seasoned CI professional. You didn't have any trouble hitting your targets. In fact, I would say you far exceeded your targets and also took the challenge in directions and dimensions that no one could have expected. So let's talk about results, right? What do you feel was the sort of the big outcomes and results that you achieved as a result of the challenge?
Well, I think the big result that you're always looking for in this type of situation is having actually landing the job, right? So
Absolutely.
if you're unemployed and you're looking for work and you are the sole breadwinner, you're kind of thrust into that position of landing that. So that outcome was hit within the 2 months, and exactly it was 2 months to the date, which was my goal to begin with.
Very
but
cool.
the smaller unique targets underneath were the uncovering of how to leverage the social media and LinkedIn tools, being able to actually manage up to 40 companies at once and really start uncovering what is a good fit look like and build relationships. So right. I think a big outcome was increasing my network size by over 30 or 40% in that month and a half. It takes a lot of time and effort to increase your LinkedIn connections and not just click connect here, but be able to meet some meaningful people that'll help you on the way. The second one would be really just the second target condition. I think that was helpful is really creating that visual and that funnel of work that you want to have. So from visualizing the number of contacts that you're making to visualizing the number of applications you've actually submitted to visualizing and getting through numerous interviews. Everyone has different interview processes, but being able to manage that and not feel stressed, that's one of the bigger outcomes, I think, is just knowing that I had a way and create the standard work for how to do that.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, and you showed a lot of discipline to like succeeding with this, right? Not just succeeding in the sense of doing the work needed to succeed, kind of I would say the on the non-digital side we couldn't see as your coaches and your cohort team. But you actually
Mhm.
showed a lot of discipline in using the Improver system to communicate back and forth to us as well and let us know what you were doing too, which I thought was fantastic. And we learned a lot from you as you were going through this. In fact, you became our designated. If any of us needs to go look for a job, Mike has got the work, right? He's got the standard procedure that we all now look to follow to go and execute a process like you just did. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
I think one of the challenges that was in that was really uncovering what's the difference between an improvement versus just an activity to be done.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think because I didn't have standard work for how I was going to go about creating the plan, as well as then learning from what I've experimented with to craft up answers to those questions. I think some of those activities that I initially was just doing
Mm,
ended up leading to the experiment. So
there you go.
how do you take those activities and jump into the creation of experiments and coming up with new backgrounds for interviews
There you
when you're
go.
doing it virtually, crafting up new standards for, oh, I need to have three different resumes, not just one, right? So based
Right.
on what I was looking for, and having those at your fingertips definitely helps answer some of those questions out there.
Man, excellent. So on that note, so you kind of touched on it already. What were some of the big? I have something some top of mind myself already from just like seeing what you did. But what were some of the biggest improvements, exactly improvements that you made throughout the process?
Yeah, creating an Obeya space, a visual
Mm,
management to actually see all the companies and the status of every conversation I was in, and just being really strict to managing it visually. I think that helped me take a lot of stress off.
mm,
Um, the second one was actually codifying and putting a lot of these tools and methods into an Excel type tool,
mm.
uh, an app basically to manage anything from negotiation strategies to interview questions and answers, common themes like that. That I didn't have documented before, as well as personal assessments and other tools to have right at the fingertips. So that if anyone's asking, you're providing um, a pretty concise yet standard um, response as people are interviewing and inquiring and learning more about you.
Yeah, man, awesome. And from that, you ended up with several great opportunities by the time you needed to decide, right? So you had, if I remember right, one day we talked and you were like, "Man, I got 5 or 6 different offers on the table now to to choose
Yeah,
from, right? From all of that,
but, but
which
I
is
think
super. Yeah, go ahead.
what I was going to say is I think you're right. It's not, you got to start in big, and you got to throw the net out and say what do you want to do, who do you want to be,
Hmm,
and as you start uncovering and understanding organizations, um, and what your priorities are as an individual and what your requirements are. The only way to do that is to start bigger versus start small if you want to be able to compare and actually make the best decision for you and the family.
absolutely, man, which is great. Um, so with that though, you actually developed some intellectual property as well. And you mentioned the app. And this is something you may
Yep.
end up packaging into a full, technology product and then offering that on the market as well, right? We'll talk through that a little bit.
At some point, yeah, yeah. The whole, how do you manage your job search? I think that's a problem that everyone has out there,
All right.
and going through this helped me land on some of the standards and features that should go into a tool um, that would help anyone in that same situation. So,
Man,
especially
that's
with
awesome.
COVID and the job transition, numerous people, you know, should and could use something like this to help them navigate that uncertainty.
That's so awesome, man. I got to tell you, I got a confession to make. I was the second coach for your cohort, and Mario Aguirre was the first cohort. Mario and I would talk every once in a while, and we would be like, Mike is an entrepreneur trapped in a corporate guy's body. This guy, he's pretty much an entrepreneur. He just maybe hasn't realized it yet.
Right?
maybe he has. I don't know. We'll find out. But he could easily just start his own company at the same time, and then he has all the right tools and capabilities to do it. Maybe it's a matter of timing. Maybe it's a matter of having other ambitions. We'll see, though. But you're definitely somebody I'm going to keep an eye on just to see what you do next.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. I was told Mario, I said, man, if he's hanging around you, it's only a matter of time before he says, you know what? Yeah, there's some upsides.
Right.
All right. What was the biggest thing you learned during the Improver Challenge? I mean, someone like yourself coming in with a ton of great experience already, leadership experience, practitioner experience. What do you feel like was some of the biggest takeaways and key learnings from the experience, the challenge?
Yeah, I think given that it was largely Toyota Kata methodology focused behind the challenge, I felt pretty comfortable with the method and the thinking. Yeah. I've seen all the videos, taught the course and everything. And so I think it would have been very easy for me to go into this with a knower hat on versus a learner hat. Right. And just putting myself back into the learner's seat when you're busy coaching all of the time. Sometimes it's hard to accept feedback, but what I uncovered was two things. One, the Kata methodology works even if you don't have standards in place, right? If you don't have, and you don't have to necessarily use every tool or track the same way, but you can uncover an experiment, and to be able to do that in an unstructured, uncertain process further validated the value of continuous improvement to me.
Yeah, good.
Secondly, what I would say is doing it with a team, especially a team that may not know you. There was some upsides to that, right? There's no judgment. There's no preconceived notions. It's being willing to accept the help, and there's always some new thoughts out there that I wouldn't thought of on my own. And so the value in being able to have that further increased new questions that I had, and I think was definitely part of the success of being able to get to where I achieved my target condition in that time frame.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like an environment where there's no judgment on what specific improvements you make, but there is some accountability for adherence to the process, right? Are you learning the process? Are you growing in the process? Are you thinking about and crafting your next experiment in a sort of systematic and a logical way? And those kind of things, which I think helps you mature in your sort of approach and your journey faster without the hindrances that you face in a corporate environment where there's consequences to which specific actions you take and which specific solutions you develop. So yeah, it's a little different environment. I see that now. I didn't think of that before, but that's a great point.
And I think the last one I would mention is I think the value of the lightness of the structure, right? So you guys made it fun, right? Mario and the team, you crafted up a method to keep it light, keep it fun, win those Impruver coins. It doesn't always have to be about work and solving the problem, even though that is what it is about. But learning new mechanisms to keep it light and fun is also a benefit to me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to be ready, right? You got to be ready when you got to do the work between the meetings, but the meetings, we try to keep the meetings entertaining as well as educational. So, awesome. And you got some Impruver coins to spend now too, don't you?
I do. I hope I didn't spend them all in one spot. I don't know.
Yeah. Just don't try to spend them at Walmart or Amazon. They already on to us. So just Hold on to them. Hold on to them. They might be worth something one day. But yeah, excellent.
All right.
All right. If you could do it again, what would you do differently?
Yeah, if I would do it again, I think spending some time on the front end, actually thinking through the approach or how I might want to do it differently. Get to know the software and the people ahead of time.
Yeah.
Just so I'm ready to go up and running on day one of the challenge.
Good.
Other than that, I would say just making sure you balance your time, balance your day. I think a lot of people get caught up in the busyness of everyday life, and you don't actually carve out the time to do an experiment.
There you go.
And it further validated with this structure, especially during this period of unknown, that experimentation is good. It's fun, and continue with that, and you'll be fine.
I'm wondering, did you ever institute something like a power hour where you just blocked off same time every day? This is the process I'm going to follow. Did you do that? I think I remember you doing something like that toward the end of it, once you kind of got into a rhythm. Just curious if you went all the way with that and how that went.
Yeah, I think in terms of finding the time of day, especially in the type of improvement and work I was doing, I didn't necessarily schedule it for every day. My calendar was different many days, depending on what I was trying to accomplish. But what I did learn throughout that is making sure it's at least in there to carve out time. And sometimes you have to uncover a new obstacle first before you go do the experiment.
Right.
But always building in the expectation that if there's a neat idea or a problem that could be solved, just go do it. Right. It doesn't need to take long. And if you don't have a full standard work, a leader standard work, or something that's directing different time activities throughout your day, you can be a little more fluid in how you use your improvement time.
Yeah, interesting. Very cool. All right. So what's next for Mike? What's your next target condition? Now that you've were so wildly successful at your previous challenge and target, what's next for you?
Yeah, well, right now it's in the middle of relocating, and so trying to navigate the uncertainty. And I think the same method and approach is being used with my whole family now to help us navigate moving houses, moving cities, moving schools.
Very cool.
A lot of those are undefined processes that we're just going to have to navigate. And so we're using a lot of those same tools and techniques to document our story along the way.
Wow.
And secondly, I think I'm excited to be launching this with the MLC to see if we can gain further traction as we seek out new opportunities to engage during COVID and virtually to help each other out and solve problems that through this method over the next couple months. So. Man,
that's fantastic. Yeah. So a little bit to unpack that a little bit. Mike, as a board member for sure, maybe a founding member of the MLC, is that right?
No, just a board member. I've been a member since near the beginning.
Okay, all right.
The last years.
Yeah. Mike is now introducing the Improver Challenge within the MLC. That's going to be a great experience for him as a leader, for the organization to more deeply engage the membership, and also just create some more channels to actually drive revenue for the organization as well. So. And help the members get certified, creates learning opportunities, creates chances for them to get to know each other better. Some of those networking opportunities. So this seems like an all-around great deal for an organization like the MLC and other lean communities that are out there looking for ways to engage membership as well. So that should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing that. And all right, on that note, Mike, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, learn more about you and what you're doing, and just kind of enter your ecosystem, what would be the best way to do that?
Just look for me on LinkedIn. We'll connect there. If you want to send me a chat message, we can connect that way too. Otherwise, you can find me through the Michigan Link Consortium. as well on that website. And other than that, I'll be moving to North Carolina. So if you're down in the Charlotte area, feel free to give me a ring and we'll try to connect.
Excellent. Mike, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a great chat and sharing your story. You got a powerful story. Keep on adding to it, and we'll try to stay connected and keep putting it out there. I enjoy nothing more than to tell stories like yours, because there's some real great continuous improvement success stories. So thank you.
It's been fun. Yeah. Thanks, Calvin. I enjoyed the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Certainly look forward to doing it again soon and seeing you as an improver coach in the next wave. So good stuff. Let's keep going.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night. Yeah, we'll see you.